All righty. Let's see if everything is working as it should. Howdy, neighbor. I don't see who you are commenting, at least not on my chat here. Um, if you click out of the video, there's a link that'll allow you to show your name on StreamYards. It's a whole connectivity issue between Facebook and StreamYards. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'll just open up my my 3D printing for noobs group. So yes, that's correct. The 3D printing for noobs group is a group I created with two other individuals, and it's been a blast ever since. Let's see here. Okay, so that does work. Cool. That's cool to know. What's up? What's up? Let's get some other windows open here. Go to the noobs group. Can you see the name now? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Please don't tell me you're spamming my group. Come on now. Did you see Max Schumer's full body armor post? I did see that. That is insane. Max is on a whole other level, which is one of the reasons why he is the he's one of the group experts. So, you know, even though my group is 3D printing for noobs, we do have quite a few people that are experts on it. So, I mean, you can see it. So, my Ender 5 Plus running 500 millimeters a second with 22K acceleration. That's pretty good. Take it you're using Clipper because that's the only way you're going to achieve that. No stock board will achieve that without some sort of help. The limitations of the chipsets. That's insanely fast, and I'd be a little concerned about breaking something at that speed. By the way, Dusty, I do see your comments, but if you click out of the video and right above the video in the actual comment area, it says there's a link to StreamYard/Facebook. You click on that, and it'll allow you to show your name. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it just makes it easier for me, essentially. Again, you don't have to. But I still see, so I see who is commenting and who is not. I am everywhere except for TikTok and Instagram right now. So yes, we are on Facebook, my personal page, the Akuma Mods page, the 3D Printing for Noobs page, Twitch, Twitter, and the YouTube. So whatever, pick your poison on where you want to go, and there you go. Okay, so I think it connected properly now. That's pretty cool. What's up, Tyler? How's it going, man? By the way, this is an open kind of chat, so if anybody wants to join on video, you guys are more than welcome to. I can shoot out the link if you guys want. And yeah. Check my Largo 3D printing and design TikTok. I will check that out when I get a chance. Just hanging out. Versatile. Yes. I decided, so like the last couple times I was just going to do it on Facebook only, but I figured, I have the ability to stream everywhere. We haven't done a stream on multi-platforms in a while, so why not? I'm sure I'll be up late night along with all of you working on stuff, so. You don't even need a streaming setup. All you need is a phone. That's it. All I have to do is just provide the link for your phone, and you can stream directly from your phone. It's really, really nifty. Technology nowadays doesn't require you to have a fancy setup. By the way, I hope my audio is okay. I used to have a Logitech mic set up, so I used to use the C9 270, and it was just the fact that I had to keep on plugging it in because I utilized that extension USB cable for other stuff, more or less for plugging in the printers, USB drives to load stuff onto it. And so I was sick and tired of plugging it in and unplugging it. And I'm like, I had this boom mic that I probably used like 5 times. And so I just want to, utilize that. So the boom mic is right out of shot right there. So I've got stuff for a stream set up coming though. Trying to do some laser stuff. Gotcha. Lasers. My lasers is still in the box. The wife got a good deal on one of those desktop lasers, and oddly enough, she didn't know what she was doing when she was purchasing it. Yet she still purchased probably one of the best desktop lasers that's out there right now. So it's kind of funny. Like it's a 30-watt laser, I think it is, for a desktop, which is insane because most of them are 10 or 20, or maybe it's something even more ridiculous. I don't know. It's insanely up there, and she got it for like $200, and I guess it's like almost $1,000 laser setup. Which I don't know how she pulled that all in off. But the fact is I don't have room for a laser, and having a laser in my basement, that's not something I really want right now. So maybe if I had a shop or a maker space or something, okay. Ugh, my hair is everywhere. I was hoping my hat would fix it a little bit. Kind of did. But yeah. Hi, I want to offer promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not the type of person that buy chat bots or whatever you're offering. Especially when I can really care less about followers, to be honest. I'm just here to chit chat. So, but yeah, you go do you. And the fact that it tells you to go to dogehype.com. Yeah, that's no. I'm good. All right. I probably shouldn't have went live because I have to do some B-roll footage. So hey, maybe you guys will watch me do some TikTok stuff. So what's up, Raymond? How's it going, man? Yes, the high tree is still sitting here. I don't have time or space to deal with it, and I have this that I'm currently promoting, which is the Nexa Zip, Nexa 3D Zip. So that's kind of more important than anything else that's going on. But I think soon enough we're probably going to get rid of one of these machines over here, and I'll put that one to use and see how it goes. But because I know a lot of people have been asking about my thoughts on the High Tree Rocket 1 Pro. So looks like Maddie Taco late night. Yep. Although I didn't really have tacos today. I ate dumplings, which were amazing because they're like freshly homemade ones. that they freeze, and you can buy them at the store, like the store that's there. It's a supermarket, but it's like a food court store, and they freshly make them, and so you can buy them there. So I'm like, I'm just gonna buy a ton of them, and I haven't been eating them lately, so I just threw them in the steamer today and ate them up, and then I tried. Me and the wife tried Dave's hot chicken for the first time, and it's really good. I think the reason why they get everybody on that, and I'm going into food reviews on a 3D printing channel, um, but I think the reason why everybody likes Dave's hot chicken is that it has so many flavors that are like encrusted in it. It's kind of like a crumbly cheese where all the flavors are packed inside of those crumbly cheese. If I can talk. And then it's basically spread on the chicken, and it's a really, really good. I liked it a lot. I was a little concerned because we ordered it for takeout, because the little one's sick right now, and we can't really take her out. So I was concerned that it was going to be a little bit soggy. And unfortunately, you can't order it with like the stuff on the side. So because I didn't realize it's more like a rub than it is like a sauce. So either way, it was good though. Definitely have some leftovers because the wife couldn't finish hers, so I'll probably have that tomorrow sometime. But enjoying my typical Mexican Coke though. I'm gonna start putting this in my link tree, so if anybody wants to like tip me instead of tipping me a coffee, just tip me a thing of Coke. Yeah, and the dumpling sauce that this place has. That's why you don't sleep. Actually, what's funny is I will down an entire case of that and then I'll pass right out. It actually does the opposite effect to me. It doesn't keep me awake. It puts me to sleep. So that's why I try and only have one because I'm usually up doing things. But like the other night, I had like 3 Cokes that I had. And by 1:30 I was out. So I was getting real tired. But yeah. The funniest story of that stuff was I was working at UPS at the time, and I was the manager of the account, and some people called off that day, so I had to stay. And I was there with one other guy who he loves working, like that's all he did, and he runs literally on Monster energy drinks. Literally anytime that you see him, that's all he's got in his hand is a Monster. And he's like, man, we got to stay up. You got to stay here for a whole nother shift, because I was working one shift and then somebody called in, so I had to work another. And so I did that, and I was like, all right, cool. So we had some food, and I downed a tall boy Monster that he had, a 24 ounce or whatever it was, huge can of it. And he's like, this will keep you up, my friend. I'm like, all right, bud, knowing full well that's not what's going to happen. And sure enough, I downed it all, and within 30 minutes, here I am passed out on my desk. He wakes me up. He's like, hey, that stuff was supposed to keep you up. I'm like, it doesn't do that for me, man. High blood sugar will knock you out. No, it's ADHD and autism. So, but yeah. That's kind of weird because I do have high blood sugar. No, not high blood sugar. Sorry. High blood pressure. There we go. Not sugar. But yeah. I don't really eat a lot of sugary stuff like Cokes. That's it. But like, if you were to see me, like I have a bag of candy here that's slowly going, but it's like, you'll be lucky to see me eat one of those a week, if that. And that's just because it's here. It's right in front of me. But once I run out of like the red ones, that's it. I'm not going to eat anymore. And I will probably not have another sweet uh, piece, candy, a piece of candy for probably another couple months, easily. So. I have before, because we had concerns that maybe I might be. There's a possibility that I might have diabetes because my twin brother looks nothing like me. He has diabetes. So back when I used to heavily drink soda, and I mean heavily, this was back when I used to down like a 2-liter bottle of pop in a sitting, like a lot. We used to test with the little thumb thing, and yeah, it wouldn't pull up anything like out of the ordinary. So. But even if I had coffee, like there's several times where I've drank in coffee and I'm just out. So. Yeah, no, like I can probably drink this and drink another one, and I'll be like, I won't want any more for the night. But if I drank some more, I'd probably be up. So, what's up, Matt? How's it going? You know what? I should just put this link in here. Link in bio. Where's my ticker? Ticker. Where is that settings? Nope. It's on invite. But yes, I understand, because on both sides, so like my wife's sister-in-law, she has diabetes too. So we're the diabetes. There we go. Yeah, it's been a while, so I figured, hey, let's go live. Well, technically, yeah, I guess back to the old days, because yeah, that's where I started streaming. I started streaming here on Facebook. Um, Facebook was a fantastic platform, and it was the first time that you can stream on your phone, which was awesome. And then they messed with a lot of settings. They screwed it all up, where you couldn't duet, and you couldn't triplet, you couldn't quadruplet people on your live stream, because we used to have like 6 people just tinkering, like talking, working on things all through the night. This was back like, God, 6 to 8 years ago. Has it been that long? Really has been that long. Jesus. Yeah, like 6 to 8 years ago. And whatchamacallit, we used to just live stream late at night, just chatting and tinkering. So yeah, I figured out, because I had an unquenchable thirst, and the hospital meter read error. They had to send my blood off to the lab, and it was over 5. It was over 500. Yeah, that's how my twin brother found out. Is he used to drink, I get apparently even more than I did, which I drank a lot back in the day. But this was a long time ago, probably 20 years now, and he came stumbling downstairs, and he was just like incoherent, and we took him to the ER, and they're like, we don't even know how he's functioning right now, because he should be in a diabetic coma, and like not even remotely close to being okay in a diabetic coma. Like his blood level was off the charts so much the meter couldn't read it. I think when they took his blood pressure, or his blood meter or whatever, it was like at 1400 or something like that. It was something insane. They're like, we have no idea how he's even here. So 4 liters of dew. Yep. Yeah, this was after high school, but yeah, I used to drink a lot in high school. Um, when I switched over from Pepsi, because I grew up on Pepsi, I switched over to Coke. This was back in probably 2006. I want to say I used to play Call of Duty on the Xbox all the time, and I had a great job where most of the time I wasn't working, but I still got paid. I was salary, so no matter what you work, you don't work, you get paid, which was great. But it wasn't making anything spectacular. I was making like 30 grand at the time, which sounds awesome, but I wasn't paying insurance or anything, so it was 30 grand straight, no nothing taken out except for normal taxes. So anyway, it was great because during the winter time, like I didn't really work because I was an installer for security systems outdoors. So most people didn't want stuff done during the holidays unless it was, a service call or something majorly needed to happen. And I was playing Call of Duty one night and I literally drank an entire 24 case of Pepsi in one sitting. And I was like, oh my God, I got to stop. Like, this is going to be bad. This is going to be the death of me. And so I went cold turkey on soda in general. Well, brown soda, I should say, Pepsi specifically. And then I started to wean myself down and started drinking like one Sprite a day or 7 Up, whichever I could find, because I needed something that was flavorful. I couldn't do it with just water. It wasn't flavorful enough for my body to come off of it. It's like an addict. Um, so I weaned myself down, and then I got to water, and then my buddy's like, "Hey, dude, I know you like Mexican food a lot. You eat a lot of tacos." At the time, I ate a lot of burritos, and he's like, "Have you ever tried Mexican Cokes?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I've had glass Cokes before, and they were just okay." Thinking like the little miniature glass Cokes that you see during the holidays for Christmas, they're completely different. They still have the high fructose corn syrup in them. So I didn't really like them all that much. And so he's like, no, 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 these are completely different. They're made with cane sugar. They're good for you. They're not great, but they're far better than regular Cokes or Pepsi is for you. And he's like, just give it a try. I'm like, all right. So, and sure enough, I went to my taco place and they had them. So I'm like, that's great. One night, popped it back, and here I am a year later, and I'm now addicted to Coke essentially. But I more or less like drinking that. I'm not a big fan of drinking regular Coke, but it's there because finding Mexican Cokes for cheap, it's kind of hard. And I'm not always at Costco to buy them in bulk because that's really the only way to get them cheap. And so I do have regular Coke around here, but yeah, try not to drink too much. So currently drink per day is 4 to 5 liters a day plus 3 to 4 24-ounce NAS a day as well. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of energy drinks. I don't like the taste of them. They are way too sweet. Like, I don't have a sweet tooth. I don't. Far from it. Like, I'm not a dessert person. I don't eat cake. I don't eat frosting. It's rare that you'll see me eating ice cream. Anything that has sugars in it, I like. Coke is really the only thing that I can consistently drink that has a sugar in it. That's it. Everything else, no. And then when Easter rolls around, I already have some. Oh no, did they eat all of them? Oh, I thought they ate all of them. I thought my kids took them. But when Easter rolls around, this is my only like guilty pleasure is the caramel eggs. Those are the only times that you'll see me like just pounding down candy. But that's like a once a year type thing, and I'm good for the rest of the year. So, and now I can't eat popcorn as well. I think it's the butter issue because I use this stuff, and I was okay eating it until I started dousing it with this. But what's weird is it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's soybean oil, natural butter flavor, annatto for color, and contains milk. So I don't really know. if it's that or if it's something else. I really don't know. But maybe we'll have to go and get tested one of these days and see. But I have weird food allergies. That's another thing. Like I'll literally eat the exact same thing for a month straight, and then just one day it'll be like, nope, you're having an allergic reaction. I've had it with tacos, the same taco place that I've eaten for decades. I've had it with sushi, same place I've eaten with for decades. Chicken teriyaki, boiled chicken, just straight boiled chicken. Actually, that's not entirely true. It's boiled chicken with what is it? It's not garlic powder. It's something salt. Oh, what is it? It's a special salt that you usually put on hot dogs. Celery salt. There we go. I can't eat all colors of curry. Interesting. Celery salt. Celery. So yeah, that was really the only seasoning that was the first time that I got it when I was about 16 or 17 at the time. And yeah, I turned red, like the red of my logo, even the whites of my eyeballs were all red. Like I didn't know what was happening. My entire body was hot, it was warm, it was itchy all over. My throat was closing up. My throat always closes up. I always go into anaphylaxis, but thankfully, I've taken lessons to do lifeguarding, and they teach you how to control your breathing in the deep end. And so that's one thing that like my body just automatically kicks in, because if you start panicking, it makes it like 10 times worse. And I'm not saying that I haven't panicked sometimes, because, you know, when you wake up out of the dead sleep. Okay, so. Can I tell you if the GK2 makes a grid pattern on a flat print? That's a really good question, to which I would say no. So, with that being said, I know what you're talking about. I've heard several people have issues with lines on their print, and I do have a print on there right now. It's not a flat print, but it's a supported print. And I've definitely printed some things flat. I printed the Cinderwing Dragon actually on it, and it printed perfectly fine. So like here, I'll show you a flat print right now. This is a flat print. There is no lines that I can see on this print. This was printed flat on the build plate, just like this. So all these pieces were, in fact, printed flat. And not one of them show any signs of like lines or anything. So let me just talk on that subject a little bit. That's a very good question, and I thank you for asking that. So that is apparently an issue with some of the previous models of the GK2, and I was informed that they were aware of this. Well, they weren't aware of it at the time. It was brought to their attention by several people. I personally have not experienced that, but then again, I have a first generation, I guess, or prototype version of the GK2. It is a production version, but I just got the first batch, I guess. And mine doesn't seem to have those issues where the layer lines can be seen. But I've heard several reports of that happening to people. Now, with that being said, here's one of the greatest things that I have ever had a company do. And no company that I've ever worked with has done anything like this. But they have just told me that they are aware of the situation and they are correcting this situation, so much to the point that they are going to reach out to each and every person who purchased a GK2 from them, and they are going to replace the unit with a brand new unit that has been redesigned at their cost, which I am flabbergasted by. Like that is a huge hole in the pocket. I'm amazed that they can even do that. I've never ever heard of a company ever doing that. That's like That's like you buying a car and then the company saying, yeah, we're going to recall the whole car. We're not just going to fix the issue. We're going to recall the whole thing and give you a new unit that's been properly tested and fixed, according to them at least. So they messaged me because I also did a giveaway for another unit, and somebody on TikTok got that. And as far as I know, he has not had that problem either. So maybe it's just our units happen to be the oddball out of the batch. But yeah, they basically said, we're going to send you a replacement unit to me and a secondary unit to the person who won. And we're going to send you a label so you can box up the old version, send it back free of charge. And I was just like, I was flabbergasted. Like, I'd never heard anybody do that. Like, that's insane. I would think it would be cheaper for them just to take the hit and replace the units and go from there. But they want to make the wrong right, which is a huge kudos on anybody's part. I don't think anybody in the 3D printing industry will ever do that. So they'll just fix it on the next version, essentially, and just have the people deal with what the issue is. So hopefully that gets some understanding of what you're talking about. I hope. So anyway, let's see if this is working. Where's my cursor? So we're only going to be on here for a little bit longer because I have to do some other stuff off camera. I have to do some promo stuff for this and whatnot. So grid lines from the Matrix. No, I do not have that issue. No. I know that is a big issue with a lot of printers, and that's why the Anycubic M3 Max has a frosted FET film to remedy that, because essentially it's like putting a piece of paper down, right? So I get what you're talking about on that sense as well. So I have not seen that at all. So it might be that you just happen to have one of those units that has that issue. But you'd literally be the first person that I know that has an issue like that, especially on the GK2. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a big advocate for the unified light source, that Creality. Well, I shouldn't even say it's a Creality light source. It's a Pionex light source that Creality took and branded as their own. So you sent me a message on Discord. Let's see. Noise. Oh, that was quick. Our tiny dinies have printed. Let's see. So we got Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So actually, I'm on 3 parts on Facebook. So I'm on my personal page, the Akuma Mods page, the 3D Printing for Noobs. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, and we're on Twitter. I could boot up either Instagram or I can boot up TikTok. But Instagram ain't really going to do anything because their live streams are vastly different than everybody else's. So, but yeah, to try and remedy that issue of the Matrix LED issue, I know what you're talking about. It was a major issue with the earlier Saturns and some of the Mono X's and some of the Mono X 6Ks. To try and remedy that situation, the only thing that I can think of is try buying a diffuser and utilize that as a screen protector all in one. Because like I said, the M3 Max, that has a frosted FET film. So it is not clear at all. It is actually a frosted sheet. So it's like as if you, I don't really even know how to explain it, but you get it. It's frosted. So you can try that route. I have not tried anything like that, but I would think it's going to utilize the same thing because here's the thing. when you're resin 3D printing, as long as the light output is getting through the LCD screen in a method to where the image is being output and it is being masked properly, then everything else is inconsequential, if that's the right word. I think that's the right word. So your wife's heat press almost caught fire. Oh, that's awesome. That's no bueno. No, let's see that. But it's under warranty and the company should replace it. Keyword is should. That is why you always have stuff like this, either on a battery backup or something that has a surge protector, something that has a switch on it, because of things like that. That is not a good design. Because that's not even like, it's like an overload issue. So that's a power supply issue. That is no bueno, my friend. Bullet Brand, what's up? So I was just kind of discussing with somebody because they were asking about the Uniformation GK2 and the LED matrix. And this might be something that you can look into since you are the master of resin printing screen protectors. So we all know the M3 Max has a frosted FEP. And in my opinion, that's great for the matrix LED styles because those lines that you see where the pucks meet each other, there's essentially a line in between each and every puck. And sometimes that shines through a little too much, mostly on the older Saturns and some of the older Anycubic machines like the Mono X and the X6K. I haven't seen them too much now, but a lot of people have moved to the integral light source that is a little slightly different than the matrix. But anyway, to get to the point is maybe look into doing a frosted screen protector for matrix LED setups. So that way people can use a normal FEP, but also have a frosted screen protector enough to where the light can still get through and the image can still be placed on there. But what that'll do is it'll actually even out the light source. Because I mean, think about it. Like if you took your vat and your build plate off of your printer and you put a sheet of paper on it, right? What's going to happen is you'll see the uniformation of lights on there, and it'll lessen the LED slits or cuts in it. So just a thought. Pulled the plug out of the power supply and it melted behind the female plug by the wires. I saw. That's not a good system. I would definitely be very weary about buying that again. That's very strange. Because it says there's one person watching, but then there's also says that there's 7 people watching. All right. So the frosted FEPs are weird. They definitely are. But I understand why Anycubic did it. It's a band-aid to an issue that they should fix. I mean, my whole thing for resin 3D printing and newer printers is moving away from the matrix style and a cob light source. I think they're older technology. They're technology that shouldn't be in any printer anymore. The integral light source, which essentially is an LED set, so it's essentially the same thing, minus the cob light source. It uses a mirror to bend that and shine it onto the LCD screen, which first off, it'll lengthen the life of the LCD screen because you're not directly putting that light onto the heat of the light directly underneath the LCD screen. I mean, you're still having heat there, but it's not as direct. And then also, it provides the most even light source. So, in a sense that they do work well, it's made to impact the print as the build plate gets closer to the vat. Correct. The light sources that use LEDs on a circuit board use a grid of plastic lenses, have the matrix problem. Yeah. Yeah, so like the Mega suffers from that sometimes. I personally haven't seen it. The M3 Max will suffer from that. I don't know if the Saturn II, I think that's got a Cobb light source in it. But that shouldn't. The GK1 and GK2 that have that issue. This Nexa Zip has that issue. I mean, they all kind of slightly have that issue. It just all depends on the wattage, and that might be why the Mega doesn't suffer from that, even though it's got an insanely large LED array like that. Is the fact that it's got a higher wattage system in it. A 2-year-old plus Nova 3D Beanie Mono and Unibees do not have that problem. Those are vastly different machines compared to, well, actually, no, you can't. I can't even say that vastly different to the GK2. Those are vastly different to like the Anycubic and the Elegoo printers. Those are quality machines. And so is the GK2. But I'd say the GK2, while it's good, it's maybe its issue is that it's newer tech with older tech still in it, and it needs to be a little bit more refined. So couldn't you just use a mini LED screen to remove the extra light needed? So they need to be UV LEDs, and the problem with just using UV LEDs as just a screen is, yeah, it works, but it's just not as fluid as it should be. So, like, you know, talking about the spread of light, and now I can't find my LEDs because I'm sure my kid ran off with it, but I have an LED light somewhere around here. What I did with it, nobody knows. Did I put you in here? Did I put you in here? There you are. So essentially the same type of concept goes here. So there is LED lights, and you can clearly see them behind here. So when you light this up, it actually, let's see if we can dim this down so it's not in your face like it is mine. So you can kind of see that it's even flow. So it's kind of nice that it's an even flow, because you don't see any of the issues with the LEDs peeking through. So that's what's kind of nice about the frosted style FET film, is that it more evens out the light, distributed better. So I have the frosted FEPs. I am looking for the brand right now for what I am using. Awesome. So I couldn't find any frosted FEPs on the market at the time when I first got that. So I actually ordered 2 tubes of the 5-piece of the frosted FEP. So if I need to put them on any of the other printers, I can, just to test it out. But I can already see, like, the theory behind it is understanding. So that's one of the reasons why the company, God, what was their name? I'm sure they're still around, but they don't really do too much. But they used to make a diffuser. I think it was called the Matrix diffuser or something like that. and basically it was a diffuser that you would put in between the LCD screen and the LEDs, and it basically diffused the light, the same sense of everything that the frosted FEP does. If I can talk. Laminated pouches. So I've heard about this being used. My only concern is that they're not durable enough. They tend to thin out as they heat up. That's the only downfall of these laminator pouches. But I know exactly what these are. I actually have some sitting in my desk at work. So. Yeah. I remember that video, and I know who that guy is. Nova used a plastic grid light source for the Whale 2, and the grid is horrible. That's what I have right out of shot here. And I'm not a big fan of that printer, and it's just stuck on a boot loop as well. It is not as good built as my Nova. God, what did I used to have? The Nova Elfin. The Nova Elfin. That was a great printer. And the grid is horrible. They changed back to the other light source without the grid for the Whale 3. Good. I'm glad. I'm trying to get my hands on the Whale 3 to see how it is. So, yeah, if you don't cook the frosted out, it actually works. Cool. That would be very interesting to test out there and see how that goes. I know exactly how that is. Because, it's enough to dampen it, but not enough to kill the light source that comes through. So, I've ordered the larger version of these sheets. We'll try what you have mentioned. Yeah. Yeah, that would be, I think that would be a good selling point for stuff, because that's still a remaining issue on a lot of the newer printers, because again, for some reason, I have no idea why, they're still using the matrix light source when there is the integral light source out there on the market, and it is far superior. Like I said, it's basically the DLP projection technology without the DLP. So in place of the DLP is LEDs. So you use far less LEDs, far littler LEDs, far less wattage LEDs to produce a wider light source and a more even light source. So it's really cool. It's refractive technology. I think I'm saying that right. Refractive, or reflective? Might be reflective. Either way, you guys understand. It's essentially bouncing a light off of a mirror to the LED screen. So there's several benefits to the technology. And thankfully, they utilize that on the Frozen Sonic Mini. I think the Mighty 8K also has that. I haven't confirmed that. I don't remember if I looked into it or not, but I think it did, because that's a newer technology printer. So yes, that is very true. It is a lower cost method because it's something that's already out there. Whereas redesigning everything and getting it situated, that's much more money in R&D and trying to tune in that light source and getting it correct. So a lot of people don't put a lot of money into the R&D side, and that's where Creality kind of got a tip forward on that, because the company that makes their printers are called PioNext. I think they're rebranded now as PioCreate. But essentially they make the same printers for Creality and have been. The Hallett Sky is actually called the CL89. And it was funny because somebody was asking me to do a review on a printer of theirs, and it happened to be PioNext, but at the time I didn't know it. And they sent me documentation for the Creality Hellet Sky on accident. And I'm like, I already knew that you guys made that printer, but you just kind of confirmed it without me digging further into it. Like, it's pretty simple to find out who makes what if you do enough digging. So, but yeah. In terms of the Uniformation GK2, the reason I think they kept the grid light source is because that is how that printer has just been designed, and there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Now, if they happen to make a larger printer, I'm going to try and push them for a better light source on that printer, or maybe even a better design, because I am pushing Uniformation to get a larger size printer out here on the market, because I really think that the market is going to start moving that way in the next year or two. I mean, resin printing in general has just been kind of pushing forward quite a lot in the past year, even 2 years. And it's getting even better and faster in the past year. So I'm trying to work with several companies to get bigger and better machines out there with, all the bells and whistles that everybody could possibly want for resin printing. So. On a side note, if someone needs a new LCD for the Unis IB, this exact one from Shitu works great. That is the typical 8.9 inch screen. Who makes Unis? I want to say that is a Pionex brand, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, though. Unis IB. No. This is the same manufacturer that makes the EPAX printers. Oh, who was that? Who makes the EPAX? Oh, I forgot the name on who manufactures these. It's like, it's not iFun. It's eFun. Something I. Oh, God. See, and that's funny because if you look up the Unis IB, that's one of the features that they talk about is the LCD screens and the light source. So most likely they have a diffuser on their stuff. So. Teaching Tech, man, I haven't talked with that guy in a while. Nice. All right. Well, I think too bad Una's orphaned the IB. It was over-engineered properly. I agree. And that's the unfortunate thing with a lot of the, in my opinion, good printers is they don't get the love and attention that they truly deserve. Like, everybody who's everybody knows Anycubic. They know Elegoo. They know Creality. Not too many people even have heard of Phrozen. Phrozen's the known person, but not very known person. And they make a far better quality printer out of anyone. in my opinion, for the consumer grade market. And then for me, the Uniformation is essentially Weebox, which I had just found out that the company that makes the printer for Uniformation, Weebox is contracted through Uniformation to design and make their printers. So that explains why these printers look identical to my old Weebox. Well, they are. They're the same printer, just older tech, and well, these are newer tech. So, but yeah. But I think we're gonna leave it at that. I got some stuff I got to shoot, and there's no point in you guys being here and watching me work on things and do TikToks and B-roll videos and things like that, because it kind of gets a little boring, and I'm not going to be chit-chatting with all of you. And there's only 3 people watching right now, so it's kind of pointless to stay on here. But maybe I'll jump in somebody else's live stream so I can leave if need be. I'll probably be on TikTok if you guys are on there. I know a lot of people aren't on TikTok. But usually I do a lot of live streaming there. So, but maybe we'll do some more live streaming this past week, and maybe we'll set one up in advance, or at least try to, because my scheduling doesn't really allow that ever. So, but I thank you guys for all sticking around and chit chatting. And again, maybe we'll do another one of these. I kind of miss chit chatting with everybody. And again, maybe we'll try and get one a little bit earlier next time we do it. So when will we talk about the Galaxy One? So I guess before I leave, we might as well drop this big bombshell. So I'm not in a good place with the Galaxy One. Let me tell you exactly why, and this is going to be me being a pissy rant, essentially. So I had somebody come and reach out to me, ask me, hey, I work for this company. I do this. This is our new unit. I had already known about it. I've known about the unit. And it's not somebody who I've really worked with before. I've kind of kept them as a close mutual because they do a lot of dental resin stuff. But essentially the conversation, and I can put this on blast if I really, really wanted to. If I wanted to pull a Tom Sandlander, yeah, I said that. If I wanted to pull that, I can do that, but I'm not going to go down to that level of petty. So anyway, we'll just get to the point. So back and forth talking, they know who I am. They know what I do, this and that. I suggested some other people that they get some review units for, what have you. And so I get to talking, and he just gets to the point, and he's like, hey, would you like to review this machine? I said, absolutely. I would love to review it. I know a lot of people have already been asking me about it. I have at least 20 people ready to line up to click the buy button as soon as I put my review out. I literally put my Uniformation GK2 review out, and one person bought it within 5 hours of me putting that video out. So anyway, so I have some people lined up already ready to buy it, waiting for my thoughts on it. And I don't really hear anything after we discuss the whole reviewing aspect. So I was like, all right, cool. So as usual, I forget about it because, out of sight, out of mind. Hey, it is what it is. Then somebody was talking to me, another mutual YouTuber who talks to me quite a lot about resin printing. And I've got them hooked up with several companies that I work with, blah, blah, blah. Turns out that they're getting a unit. Not saying that they're not qualified for it. They do have much larger following, at least on YouTube, than I do. But they probably will utilize it a little bit better than what I would do it for. So understandably, not heard about it. A little disappointed, sure. But anyway, so I reached back to him and I'm like, hey, any updates on this? You guys need my shipping address? What's going on? And they're like, oh, well, sorry, the units are already sent out. And that's kind of funny because I already knew that one big creator has a unit. He showed it off on a live stream, at least the box of it, and he was already asking me about it. You guys all know who he is. I'm not going to throw his name out there, but yeah. So he popped into a live stream and was chit-chatting me about it, and I kind of knew, and I know he was the first person to get it. So it was just like, this was maybe a day after we had discussed getting a unit. And so I was like, okay, that's kind of strange that they already sent you a unit, but considering the person that you are, I can see that. All right. Didn't think nothing of it. But then I find out, a couple days after that they had already shipped out all the units. And so I was kind of pissed, to be honest. Like, this is the second time that a company, FL Sun, has reached out and said, hey, we want you to review a unit, and then they back out of it. Like, how do you come to me and ask me, not me reaching out, like peddling? It's been a while since I peddled a company for a unit. The last one that I peddled for was Tiny Maker, and I still back that anyways because I could care less. It was throwaway money that I had. So anyway, needless to say, I don't think I'll be getting a test unit. However, I did end up reaching out to the company's personal Facebook page via Messenger. And I told them the whole situation, like, this is kind of shitty. Like, you guys reach out to me. I have people waiting to basically hit the button to go on this. And you're basically losing out on at least 20 people. So your loss, I'm not losing anything in my self. So yeah, I kind of pity partied that one a little bit. And they were like, all right, well, what would you like us to do? And I'm like, well, I know you guys already sent out all the units. It would be great if you guys can, send me one. If not, it's not the end of the world. And they're like, okay, well, we can maybe send you one, but all the production units are already made. But we'd probably be able to send you one after the Kickstarter. And I'm like, that's great, but you guys kind of missed your window. Like, I'm just telling you, I had people waiting to go on this that could be customers, not potential customers, depending on my review on this. And they were just like, oh, well, okay. So they have my information. If anything happens, it happens. I'll update everybody as it goes, but I'm not expecting anything. I'm not going to back it because I'll be honest, $1,000 to back onto, well, it's like 1,300, I think it is, for the pre-production or whatever. I'm not going to back it because it's different technology. It's SLA. So it is laser technology, not MSLA. So what most people are used to are MSLA. Now, MSLA versus SLA versus DLP are three hugely different things. There's different materials that you use for it. There's different ways that you go about setting things up. Things are just completely different between each and every one. And while there are some similarities for the vast majority of what you want to do with them, they are completely different. So either way, I'm just waiting for kind of the shit storm to happen if that does. But yeah, no, it's a little different than the Form series. So the Form is it's a different one. It's like SLC. So it is a stereolithography centered light source or something like that. Slightly different than an SLA machine. SLA is essentially just a laser system. That's all it is. It's nothing super overcomplicated. Whereas a Form Labs, yeah, same technology, but its bonding processes are vastly different than an SLA. So that's a whole other technology that, like Nexa 3D here, this is the Nexa 3D Zip, which this is MSLA. All their other stuff is SLCS, I think it is. And they have the fastest laser printers on the face of this planet. For 80 grand, you can print a full build volume on those printers in like 20 minutes. I'm not even joking. I'm over exaggerating, but it's something insane like that. So you get your money's worth very, very quickly on those. But anyway, so there's technically 4 different versions of resin printing. There's MSLA that everybody knows. That's masking stereolithography. That uses an LCD light source. There's SLA, which is the laser version of MSLA. So similar properties that you can use and things like that. Then there's SLSC, or whatever the Formlabs and Nexa products are. Slightly different, tweaked lasering systems, better bonding processes, and usually has more proprietary stuff for it. And then there's DLP, which is digital light projection. That's essentially a projector that produces the image. Very similar to MSLA, but two vastly different style light sources. Styles. So anyway, as of right now, it's kind of up in limbo. Am I a little pissed about it? Sure. But I can't really be pissed about it because I'm somebody, but I'm also nobody. So what I mean by that is, yeah, a lot of people know who I am. They know what I do, but there's also a vast amount of people who don't know who I am and don't know what I do. Like, I help out a lot of people, including the big people that a lot of people follow for resin printing. So I help those people out. And I'm not saying like I'm better than them or anything. Yeah, I kind of am. But it's the fact that I attain a lot of knowledge about the stuff that I'm very much into. So I deep dive into the intricacies of everything that's going on. It's one of the perks yet downside of being who I am and what I have, ADHD, autism. It's always been a thing where if I get into something, I need to know every little aspect about it. That's why I'm the person to go to where it's like, oh yeah, I know that printer. This is made by this company, and those parts are sourced by this, and this is where you can get it. Like just the other day, okay, everybody's up in arms about the Bambu Labs printer and their filaments, specifically their support material filament. Well, I found out that they actually can get the same type of filament from Polymaker. That's the exact same stuff, and it's actually branded by eSun. So I kind of do a little bit more in-depth research. I do more snooping than most people do. Let's just call it what it is. But that's the information I want to know because for some reason my mind likes to know that information to be, I guess, a little bit better. I don't know. Either way, so that's how I know Elegoo products are not made by Elegoo. They're not. They're made by Calent, which Calent was they're kind of ghosted. They don't exist. They exist underneath the Elegoo brand nowadays. But when they first started, the Calent S400 was the original Elegoo Saturn. Then the Calent S500 with the 4K screen, what became the new Elegoo Saturn. So it was funny because halfway in their push to market, they switched from a 2K 8.9 inch printer to a 4K 8.9 inch printer. Good Lord. Calent Products makes a lot of the resin printers that you see on the market. They make the Voxel Lab printers. They make the Flashforge style printers. They made some of the original Creality printers. And so, yeah, there's only a handful of people that actually make the consumer grade printers. So anyway, going back to the Galaxy. Sorry, I'm going way off topic as I normally do. We're going to leave it as is. I've told them my distaste on everything, and it is what it is. So we'll see if I get it. If I do, I do. I don't, I don't. Not the end of the world. It was kind of like the High Tree rocket right here. I kind of pushed to try and get one of those. Uncle Jesse was the only one to get one. That's fine. So I backed it just because pure curiosity. So, most don't. Most are just showmen. People who want to buy these machines really need to know the in and out. Yes. And that's what I try and provide as much as I possibly can. Be it in a review or just chit-chatting with people and helping them understand the ins and outs of the printer itself. So, so yeah, fun times. And now you guys got me on here for an extra, 10 minutes or so. I'll end it in 10 minutes. Okay. I'll end it at 12 o'clock because I do need to do some B-roll footage. I need to get some stuff going because we got to finish print here. I got to test fit some of these parts. I really hope that these work because I've been driving myself insane because ever since I got rid of my Weebox Lite 130, I haven't had a printer here in my hands that has true dimensional accuracy. And that's coupled because of the fact that it is the newer printers with the monochrome screens seem to not be able to achieve the same type of dimensional accuracies that a RGB screen printer can. RGB being back in the day resin printers. They're much easier to tune in on RGB printers, and I don't know if that's because it's going through multiple layers, so you have that ability to wiggle your way through and get the correct dimensions on it. Whereas monochrome, it's just black and white. It's just two. It's just boom, boom. It's done. Whereas RGB, you're going through RGB. So, anyway, I don't know the true intricacies on that, but that's my thought process on it. So I've been trying to work on the Frozen Sonic Mini here to try and get some accurate and dimensional parts. And we're actually going to do a video on accuracy and tuning printers and getting the best results of your prints. So just to give you a heads up here, we have one of these has no anti-aliasing, no blur. One of them has anti-aliasing and no blur. And then the other one has anti-aliasing and blur on it. So what that does is it basically allows the light to be softened on the edges to create less of a wavy line. Because what happens with some of these resin prints is when you're printing them, they have like a flow look to them. I don't really know how to explain it, but essentially, like, you have a flat piece and then there's a flow, then there's a little bit bigger flow on it, then a little bit bigger flow. They look all the same, like pattern wise, but the flow is different on them. It's really hard to get the point that I'm trying to get across. So gray level influences monochrome screen accuracy. Yes. And that is something that I'm starting to work on. So it's not something that I've ever really worked on, but a lot of people are getting into resin printing. So I'm playing with certain things to try and figure out the best results for resin printing and then put out my profile. Because I've already worked on speed. That's great. Like this printer, I basically cut my print time down in a third. On stock settings, we did a print the other day. Well, we mocked a print, and it was like 72 hours on stock frozen settings, which it would look amazing on that. With my settings, it brought it down to 18 and a half hours. So that's a vast difference. But there is a caveat to that. You lose major dimensional accuracy with that printing because I did a Wicked 3D print. I love Gambit from X-Men. And one of my followers sent me a file of Gambit through Discord. And so I finally got around to printing it. But the problem is it printed it and it printed it well, but it was just like there were some parts that didn't fit together very well, or they were too loose or whatnot. So it was just like one or the other. And I'm pretty sure that has to be boiled down to the speed that I was using. Because if I use stock settings, it would be like 40 hours to print what I did in like 4 hours. So try setting anti-aliasing to 0% gray. Yeah, so I basically did settings on that to max out everything. So we did max anti-aliasing, max grayscale, and so on. So we're going to take a look at that. There is some slight differences on it. The difference between AA and blur and AA and no blur are slightly less, but I'd say if you're going to do it, might as well type thing. So I print functional mechanical prototypes that dimensional accuracy is essential. And that's one of the reasons why you have some amazing printers that you listed that are truly dimensional accuracy. So back in the day, my go-to heavy hitters for dimensional accuracy was the WeBox Lite series, specifically the WeBox Lite 130 and the Nova 3D Elfin. They were the best, and Nova always boasts about their dimensional accuracy, and it is very true, except for maybe the Nova Whale 2 here. I'm not a big fan of that printer, and you basically said kind of similar to it. So we will have to do a review on that one. So maybe I'll do one this weekend for it. But yeah, it was printing great when we had it printing, but now it's just kind of stuck in a boot loop, and Nova doesn't really care about it. So I don't think that's going to be replaced anytime soon. So, oh well, maybe I'll just toss it out there and see if anybody wants it as a project. You know, there's Hightree that has that weird DLP system that's coming out. That would be perfect for it because it's basically a useless printer at this point. So yeah, that's basically where it's at. So, well, thank you for getting me to talk about something that I don't know. I guess I really don't have to talk about, but yeah, that whole Galaxy One situation definitely did kind of piss me off a little bit. But you know, it is what it is. I can understand because I'm big in some areas, but not big in the right areas, specifically YouTube. If I had a larger following there, even if I had like 10,000 followers, I think I'd be in a better situation than I am right now. So if I had the same amount of followers that I had on TikTok on YouTube, man, it would be fantastic. So, but hey, it is what it is, and that's how it is. So yeah, with that being said, guys, I'm going to head out here, and I thank you all for stopping and chit-chatting, and if you guys ever need me, you know where to find me. I'm mostly on Facebook, so that is my goal, to change it this year, to be a little bit better, provide a little bit more information, do more intricate and detailed videos for people who are getting into resin printing, because, well, resin printing has vastly grown over the last year. It used to be like one resin printing person coming on the market to probably 50 FDM printing people coming onto the market. And now it seems like maybe 10 to 50. So it's getting up there. Still a slow creep, but it's been getting better. So, so my vast array of knowledge is seeming to be more put out there for a lot of people. So, but yeah, that's the goal, is to change some things. So hopefully we can. But hey, we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm hoping. So anyway, I thank you guys all for stopping in and chit-chatting. And like I said, if you need to reach me for anything, you know where to find me. Mostly on Facebook, but I'm always open on any social media. So thank you all for stopping in and chatting. And y'all have a good night. And as usual, happy printing.